let's talk about Freaknik and what Freaknik teaches about Kemetic spirituality. It's Boo Fam, peace and blessings. This is Derric Rau Khu, and I want to make a real short video, or a relatively short video compared to all the videos that have been made in the past. I want to talk about, what is spirituality? What's the spiritual truth behind the whole Freaknik thing? Here lately, a lot of people have been talking about this documentary that is going to be coming out on Hulu called Freaknik, or the documentary about Freaknik. For those of you who don't know, Freaknik was basically like a little get-together type of deal back in the 1990s or so, that a lot of the HBCUs, a lot of students who went to the HBCUs, they would go ahead and they would go to Atlanta. And it became pretty much like a little destination spot, because back in the day, a lot of people would usually go to, I think it was like Palm Beach, or they would go to Miami, okay? They would go to all these different areas. That's where most people would go to. Well, there weren't a whole lot of places that, like I said, students who went to HBCUs, was a whole lot of places that they would go. So Atlanta became the meeting spot. I don't know why Atlanta became the meeting spot. I don't know if it was because of, the HBCUs that are down there in Georgia or so, or in that area. Not sure if that was the case, but I do know that became the space. It became the spot that everybody, most of the people who went to HBCUs, that's where they went. As far as, like I said, I know I know people who was going down, who went to Freaknik, from Texas, from Prairie View, from TSU, from Oklahoma, all those areas, Alcorn. I remember it, okay? You won't catch me on one of those videos, though. Funny thing, every time I tried to go, it was like something always came up. So, Spirit was like, nope, you ain't doing that, But the thing I find interesting, well, before that, let me go ahead and explain a little bit more. So like I said, that's really what it became. It was basically, just a meeting spot, that kind of like an impromptu type of meeting spot for a lot of students who went to HBCUs. And from the people I know who went there, basically, like you said, it was like a place where they had free concerts. They was always partying and all that kind of stuff. But kind of like it was a lot of debauchery, and most likely, because right now I think there's a lot of people, and when I say people, I'm saying women, that are trying their best to go ahead and get it blocked, because now they're in some prominent positions and they don't want people to know this about their past life. They don't want people to know that, hey, I'm a doctor, now I'm a judge, I'm in this top position, but back then, this is what I was doing. They don't want people to know about that kind of stuff, and it's understandable, But the thing I find interesting about this whole thing, is that this is where you start to see the breakdown of the Christian morality, and you start to really understand what Kemetic spirituality kind of deals with, okay? Everybody talks about the 42 laws of Maat, all right? And this is the part that a lot of people don't understand about the 42 laws of Maat, okay? I refer to them as the 42 declarations, or 42 declarations of Maat, the 42 ideals of Maat, not laws, not commandments. But most people who are coming from a Christian mindset, and they're superimposing their Christianity upon Kemetic spirituality, they don't understand that, and that's how they're looking at this. They look at the 42 declarations, like I said, they look at them as laws. So from that perspective, from that understanding, they're under the impression that if you go ahead and you recite these 42 laws, well, that means that you haven't done those things, okay? And it, for the most part, pretty much means that you're damn near perfect, okay? Or that you're supposed to be damn near perfect, all right? This is the breakdown. Kemetic spirituality understands there's two types of beings. There's when it comes to this whole thing, we're talking about Kemetic spirituality. There's two types of beings. There's a human being, okay? And a human being meaning a person basically, or a being who is of the earth, all right? Hugh, you're of the earth, meaning you have an animalistic nature, okay? You have animalistic behavior. You do things from an animalistic mindset. The only difference between you and a human being, okay, or the only difference between you and animals is that it's not really much difference, okay? Because you're controlled by your emotions like animals, okay? I'm gonna get to the difference here in a minute, but you're controlled by your emotions, all right? And that's the thing about being human. That's the thing that they're trying to, the Kemetic people are trying, or the Kemetic sages, that's what they're trying to get you to understand. So there's two beings. Like I said, the one being is a human being. The second being is God or goddess. Now, if you look at it from that perspective, as being a human being, someone who is a animalistic individual, you just basically are, you're for the most part, you're an animal, okay? You're of the earth. And a god or goddess, when you look at it from that perspective, and you look at the 42 declarations from that perspective, what you see is, if you're a human being, if you are controlled by your emotions, if you are governed by your emotions like most animals, then you're going to feel guilty about a lot of things. You're going to not only feel guilty, but you're going to say, oh, this is wrong, or you would never go ahead and reach a stage of perfection or any of those things, because you're governed by your emotions, okay? But as a god or goddess who understands, hey, I did those things when I was younger, or I did those things when I didn't know any better. I did those things because I did some stupid things, some animalistic things, some emotional things. When you look at it from a god or goddess perspective, it makes sense why you can go ahead and you can say, I have not done this. I have not done these things right here. I have not done X, Y, Z, or whatever else that they're asking about or saying, or whatever else becomes your truth in regards to living according to Maat. Okay? So this whole thing about Freaknik, what it should teach people is that, yeah, you did some stupid things. We all do stupid things, okay? God knows I've done some real dumb things, okay? But you do some stupid things. And why did you do those stupid things? Well, you did it because you didn't know any better. You did it because you were basically, like I said, you were ran and governed by your emotions. Your emotions was in full high, and you just went ahead and you followed through. But now that you're a god or a goddess, now that you understand what is the balance, what's the righteous thing to do, what's the truthful thing to do, do you still do that? Do you still engage in that debauchery? Do you still participate in any of that type of those actions and behaviors? Okay? Again, I'm not talking about morals or anything. I'm just saying, do you understand as a god or goddess why certain things should not be done? Why is incorrect that you did those types of things? or you engaged in those type of behaviors. Can you now say, as a god or goddess, I have not done this? That's what it's all about, okay? That's what the whole thing about Kemetic spirituality deals with. If you're feeling guilty about this, then that means basically you still got a little Freaknik in your blood. that's the reason why you're feeling bad about it. But if you go in here and you're recognizing, hey, yeah, I did that. I grew from that. I don't deal with that anymore. You know, I did it because of whatever reason. I did it because, hey, like I said, I was governed by my emotions. I was governed by my animalistic behavior, the lower part of my nature. I was governed by my sahu part of my being. I didn't know about my divinity. I didn't know about the God or the goddess within me. That's the reason why I did it. If you can go ahead and you can get to that point, now you feel your heart is no longer weighed down by that. You no longer feel guilty about it. And that's what the Kemetic spirituality deals with. That's one of the lessons. When I'm looking at this, that's what I'm getting from that. Okay? So share with me, you got any ideas? What do you think this deals with? What do anything that you think you can learn from this? Share with me, okay? Because this whole thing is nothing but an illusion in the first place, and that's the whole point of this, okay? Again, we've all done things. We've all done things that we've regretted. But the thing that we got to get into, the thing we have to understand is how to grow from it. How do you grow from it? And the way to grow from it so that you're not feeling heavy about it, your heart is not heavy about it, your heart is light as a feather about it, is to go ahead and look at it and understand, why did you do those things? Do you still do those things? Do you still engage in that? Do you still engage in that behavior? Okay? What is the righteous way of seeing things, the righteous way of living? All right? Until next time, thanks again for liking, sharing, and subscribing. Until next time, Hetapu, peace. Don't pretend